When Anthony Joshua first lost to Andy Ruiz Jr., okay, there was a lot of excuses, all right? A lot of excuses. And I'm a type of person that I don't like excuses. And when it comes to, like, at least, like, boxing, I don't like excuses. I don't like when people say, lucky punches, this guy didn't take him seriously, stuff like that, right? Both of these dudes going into this fight are going to have a full training camp, right? A full training camp. It's not like the first time. The first time around, both of these dudes didn't really have enough time to prepare for one another, right? And you could kind of use that as an excuse, right? You could be like, well, maybe Joshua just couldn't find a sparring partner the size of Andy Ruiz who replicates Andy Ruiz for the first fight, because he had like 4 weeks to train for him, and he was training for a totally different style. And somebody like Jarrell Miller, who was like 6'4", and Ruiz is a short heavyweight, and they fight different. He's not a counterpuncher and stuff like that. And the same thing for Ruiz. You could have used that as an excuse. Let's say Ruiz would have lost. You could have been like, well, look, Ruiz, he didn't have enough time to prepare, because who is he going to get in sparring to replicate someone like Joshua in like 4 weeks, right? I don't want to hear no excuses, because this time, and also the fact that, people were saying maybe Joshua was nervous, maybe he was overlooking Andy Ruiz, stuff like that, right? Joshua said, and you could kind of use that as an excuse, because Joshua said that he was thinking only about Wilder, going into the Ruiz fight, because he wanted to get that undisputed fight with Wilder. But going into this fight, this rematch, I do not want to hear no excuses, because you can't make no excuses. First of all, both of these dudes have a full training camp. So you can't say like, oh, Andy Ruiz. Let's say Ruiz loses. You can't say, oh, Andy Ruiz didn't have a full training camp. See, it was unfair. If Anthony Joshua loses, you can't say, oh, Anthony Joshua had a half-ass training camp. No, he had a full training camp. Also, I'm already seeing articles where Eddie Hearn's saying that they're already finding the perfect fucking sparring partners for Anthony Joshua. So I don't want to hear no excuses if he loses again to Andy Ruiz Jr. Another thing is, I don't want to hear the excuse that now Joshua maybe wasn't in the best condition, because you look at Joshua right now, he looks a lot slimmer. So clearly he's been losing weight, right? He's been losing weight. So he hasn't been focusing on, he even said himself, he's not focusing on lifting the weights as much as just being in the, working on his boxing technique, his boxing skills. And that's why he says that's why he's been losing weight. Not because he's been purposely trying to like lose the weight. That's what he says. He says that he's not been purposely trying to lose the weight, but because he's been just focusing on like his boxing and not on the weightlifting, is naturally just coming off the weight, I guess. Like he's shedding off the weight. So he's probably going to come in better shape, right? Remember, I think he was like 250, 240 something, 250 when he fought Andy Ruiz Jr. So he's probably going to come in lighter. The same thing with Ruiz. Ruiz is saying he's going to come in at 255. So not only are both of these dudes coming into this fight in a full training camp, all right, with a full training camp, they're going into the rematch having enough time to prepare themselves for their opponent, for Joshua, for Ruiz. Also, they're both coming in the best shape. I think they're going to come in the best shape. Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see. I might be totally wrong, but I think they're going to come in the best shape. Also, this fight's not happening in the UK, so I don't want to hear no excuses that, the fight took place in the UK. Therefore, Joshua, of course, he was going to win. I don't want to hear excuses. Oh, the fight took place in New York again. Of course, Andy Ruiz was going to win. It's happening in neutral territory, Saudi Arabia. They're not from there, both of these dudes, right? So you can't really say no excuses, right? You can't, unless like the only excuse you could probably say in this fight is like if there's a premature stoppage. Let's say somebody gets dropped and then the ref just jumps in and stops the fight and the guy is clearly still able to continue, then okay, that's like an excuse. Or like say a guy clearly won but they gave it to the other guy, the judges, like say it goes the distance, then you could use that as an excuse, or maybe even a draw, right? But when it comes to like the preparation is what I'm saying. When it comes to the preparation of this fight, this rematch, I don't want to hear no excuses, because they both have, I think we're going to see the best version of Ruiz and the best version of Joshua, okay? That's what I'm trying to say with this video. I think we're going to see the best version of both of these dudes. So please don't come at me with no excuses. I don't like no excuses. Whatever happens in this fight, whoever wins this fight, don't come at me with no excuses. Anyway, guys, stuff to say. I'm out. Peace.